Hello, freshmen. I know you guys are all really upset. You couldn't be here today. Seniors are taking their ACT test, and you're stuck at home wishing you could be at school. It's supposed to snow today. Missing out big time. I'm going to talk to you very quickly about point of view. This is a pretty easy concept. It's something you guys have probably definitely talked about before, but we're going to review a little bit of it, and we're going to maybe add a layer or two. So there's a thing on your Schoology site that says point of view chart. It's just a link to a handout. And that is what we're going to look at right now. All right, the point of view chart has 5 different points of view on here, but one of them, this one, the stream of view consciousness, we're not going to worry about that one because one, it's pretty rare. It doesn't really show up too often. And it's also a little more complicated. It's not as easy to identify. So we're just going to ignore it. There's some stuff there about it if you want to look into it and you're curious, but it is not something I'm going to ever hold you accountable for. So don't worry about it. Let's focus on these other 4 instead. And first of all, let's start with first person. It's one of 2 that I've identified as things that you will probably see more often than not. But it is something that's also the easiest to identify because first person means the narrator is in the story. They are one of the characters. And so they say things when describing things. Like they say like, I, my, me, we, are, whatever, us. They say all these different things. And you have access to what that character is thinking and what they're feeling and all that information because they're in the story. We tend to empathize with that character. We tend to feel with that character. We tend to try and relate to that character because they're the focal point of the story. With that, we also have third person. Third person has 2 different types. We got omniscient and we've got limited. There is no second person. We go straight from first to third. And to know the difference between third person, omniscient, and limited, we need to know what this word omniscient means. Omniscient means all-knowing. You know everything. You know what characters are thinking, you know what characters are feeling, you know what a character in this room is doing, and what a character completely different in another spot is also doing, even though they're not in the same place at the same time. You know everything. Omniscient narrators are like Santa Claus. They know what you're thinking, they know what you're doing, they know if you've been good or bad, they know everything. And you never see them. They're never actually in the story. They just know everything. And so they're going to refer to everybody as he or she or they. It'll never, ever be the first person because they're not in there. They know what more than one character is thinking or feeling, and they can get different perspectives from a lot of different people. And so it's told from an outsider who knows what everyone is thinking and doing. Third person limited is similar in the sense that it says he, she, and they. But in this case, we tend to know what only one character is thinking or feeling. And that also gives us a chance to focus on one character and kind of relate to one character and empathize with one character rather than a whole mess of them, because we get that character as the focus. Unlike first person, the narrator is not in the story. They're just telling the story. And so that is why we have limited view. We only know what one person's thinking, but they're not in it. The narrator's not in it, so we get a third person perspective. And the last one, the final one, which is rarer than the other 3, is objective. Objective is like if we're watching a surveillance camera and we just report on what we see. We know what people are doing. We know what they're saying. We don't know anything else. We don't know what they're feeling. We don't know what they're thinking. Because objective is just like the truth. For example, your classes, you have objective and subjective classes. An objective class would be like math. Doesn't matter who the student is, the answer is going to be the same. 2 + 2 is always going to be 4. Whereas art is a more subjective subject. In art class, you might look at one thing and one person goes, that's really good, I like that. And someone else goes, it's not for me. That's subjective. Subjective is opinion-based, objective is fact-based. And so an objective narrator just gives you the facts. It tells you what happened, what people said. It doesn't go into feelings or opinions. That's point of view. Let's use that information to do today's assignment. Today's assignment is called point of view or POV, Ant and the Grasshopper. The Ant and the Grasshopper is a fable about an ant and a grasshopper, and fables always have a little theme, so you can figure out what the message is. This can be told 4 different ways, the same story, 4 different ways, each of one of the 4 perspectives. There's some instructions on there for you to follow, and some questions for you to answer when you're done. Do that. That's the main part of today's assignment. The final thing you'll need to do is the discussion question on Schoology. That is where I will be taking attendance. So make sure you get that one completed. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. I am working with ACT somehow today. I don't know what my availability is, but email me. I'll be able to get back to you because I will be able to have access to a computer. Hope you have a good day. See you guys later.